Today, sir, our music, our films, our fashion have conquered the entire world. You hardly go on an international flight today without, in any aircraft, without hearing the music of Burna Boy or Wizkid or Davido. We are number 2 in the world, sir. We produce 2,000 films a year. Mr. Chairman, sir, we in our ministry, we understand and appreciate what culture and tourism can do to achieve many more other things. And Mr. Chairman, I want to say here that we do not rely on the very little money given to us through budget. We go out of our way to ensure that we project our culture and our creative sector properly. Mr. Chairman, I'll give you just a few examples, Mr. Chairman. As you rightly pointed out, the creative sector, which is tourism, which is culture, was the most and is still the most affected by the COVID-19. Because of all endeavors, of all industries, it is the creative industry that is people-centered. You need people to gather, be it concert, be it film, be it festival, be it dancing, even hospitality. And these are the things that COVID dealt with first. We could not have concerts because they said we must keep social distancing. How do you sing with the mask on? How do you get people into your hotel when airports are closed? So our industry took the hardest hit from the COVID-19. That was what motivated us, at no cost to government, to assemble the best brains in this country in the creative sector, led by Alibaba, to give us what is the impact of COVID-19 on the industry. These about 23 patriotic Nigerians, ranging from Alibaba, Ubi Asika, Austin Peters, and co., donated their time and their talent, and they gave us a comprehensive report, which is what we are using today to reposition the creative industry. And what we found out from that report was that, yes, music and film might be what we remember easily about the creative industry, but that in truth, while we make only about 500 million from music, and about 140 billion, about 200 billion from music, and about 140 billion from film. Actually, the fashion industry in Nigeria brings in about 2 trillion naira. That the makeup industry brings in 1.52 trillion naira. That the hospitality industry in Nigeria brings in 2 trillion naira. And that the books and publishing industry brings in about 1.2 trillion naira. So we're able to see exactly where our strengths were and exactly what the challenges are in the industry. That report has proved very useful in our planning for 2022, and it's also helped us to galvanize the sector. Mr. Chairman, sir, you notice that with little or no funding, sir, we have been able to reposition the culture and tourism industry in Nigeria. Today, I think it was only last week, sir, when the DG of National Commission for Museums and Monuments led the delegation to Cambridge University to collect the okpa. Okpa is the cockerel that was looted and stolen from the Benin Empire in 1897 and found its way to Jesus College in Cambridge in 1901. This ministry had pursued the return of this cockerel the last 3 years. And I would want to take the opportunity to thank our young students in Cambridge that spearheaded this fight. They started the fight, young students in their early 20s and teens. And we led a team to the UK to meet the Secretary of Culture to ask for the return of this. And actually to ask for the return of another Ife bronze, which was stolen from Jos Museum, and found its way into an auctioneer's hand, who now sent it to the UK for evaluation. When they got there, because we reported the theft to Interpol and to International Museum Organization, of course it was impounded. But as we speak today, the British are now holding that particular Ife bronze. And we went there also again, we met the Secretary, but we have reported to the highest body of International Museum Organization that this thing belongs to us. Sir Chairman, sir, next week, University of Aberdeen is also returning another artwork which was stolen from Nigeria. But I believe that the biggest we've done so far, sir, is the collaboration between us and the German government, which we believe we have signed the MOU, and they are going to return 1,130 Benin bronzes that were stolen from Nigeria, from Benin, in 1897, which found their way into various private and public museums in Germany. So, Chairman, I was with the representative of the Oba of Benin, the governor of Edo State, and we had a very useful, at times acrimonious, engagement with the government of Germany. But as we speak today, we hope that by December we are going to sign an agreement of return of those 1,130 artworks. Mr. Chairman, sir, we have been invited by Switzerland too and France to open talks on our cultural artifacts. We are doing all this because we realize that the strength of Nigeria tourism is actually more in music, more in film, more in our cultural artifacts than actually in what we call destination tourism. And this administration has embarked on one of the most ambitious projects, which we call the DSO. The DSO is the digital switchover. This switchover means we are going to switch from analog broadcasting to digital broadcasting. You may ask, how does this now affect tourism and culture? I think it's the biggest revolution that will hit tourism and culture in Nigeria. Because through the DSO, we are going to create over 1 million jobs in the next 3 years. And how do we do this? Because, like I said, the DSO, sir, is moving from analog to digital. On the analog broadcasting, sir, see the space, the spectrum today, occupied by our radios and televisions, which are largely analog. It is the same spectrum that is in high demand by the telecoms company. And analog is very, very wasteful. Sir, the space that one analog television station occupies, when you go digital, 16 channels can occupy the same. So we are confident that if we transit successfully to DSO, we'll have spectrum worth over $2 billion to sell to telecoms companies. And this time yesterday, Your Excellency, sir, we were in Kano launching the DSO for Kano. And we are moving to Port Harcourt next month. Now, the beauty of the DSO, sir, is that it's creating jobs. There are 13 licensed set-box manufacturers who are employing people to manufacture set-top boxes. Because for you to go from analog to digital, sir, you need what you call a small set-top box, a decoder. There are 30 million television households in Nigeria as we speak today. 30 homes that have television. Now, to go digital, it means each house must have a set-top box. And we said, we are not going to import. You must assemble locally or manufacture locally. And I'm proud to say that one of the companies has made history. It is not just assembling, it's manufacturing. Not just manufacturing set-top box, but even television in Calabar. So, of course, when you have 24 million, or when you have 30 million boxes to sell, you are going to also employ technicians, you employ dealers, you are going to employ wholesalers. So on our own, sir, we are not relying on government to fund tourism and culture. We've gone out to seek for a very resourceful manner to ensure that we put our name on the world map in tourism, and especially through music and through our film industry. Because today, when you go from analog to digital, it means that instead of having 5, 6 television stations you can see on television, you have up to 60, 100 channels. You have special channels for children, animation, religion, cooking, local language, fashion. And this is the way we want to create jobs. And we know that we have the talents. We have the young men and women with talents. All they need is this incentive. This is one way we are creating incentive for the creative industry so that we can employ our young men and our young women. And we are doing all this looking for partnership outside the country and also looking for linkage and working with the people in the sector. So we share your vision. I'm already implementing this vision in our own very quiet way. But of course, this does not make the kind of news that fake news will make. And that is why probably we are underappreciated and we are underreported. But we are, I can say, comment that I take a lot of satisfaction in what we've achieved in the cultural and in the creative industry in Nigeria. We also do organize creative summit every year. So, sir, I said that because we said we're here today, not just to talk about how the nairas were spent, but actually what is our vision and what we can do to expand the frontier of tourism and creative industry. The bankers committee, sir, decided this year, or last year rather. As a matter of fact, this story, sir, predates my being renominated of my being reappointed as a minister. Between May 29 and August, when I was reappointed, the central bank governor got an approval from Mr. President to allow the bankers committee to invest this sum into rehabilitating the National Theatre. Mr. President gave the approval. When I was reappointed as minister, it now became my responsibility to execute that approval. So I met with the central bank governor, and I met also with the bankers committee, of which is the chairman. And we agreed. They rather informed me they are going to invest 2 billion naira of their money, not just to rehabilitate the National Theatre, but also to build 4 hubs, one for film production, one for music, the third for IT, another one for fashion, within the premises of the National Theatre. Well, I looked at it, Mr. Chairman, sir, and I grabbed the opportunity with not just my hands, even with my legs. Because, Mr. Chairman, sir, I did not see how in 10 years I could raise 20 billion to invest in the National Theatre. So we signed an MOU.
With the bankers?
We signed an MOU, sir. With CBN. With the CBN, sir. Because see that the chair, you see.
Based on the approval from Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Based on the approval from the President. So we now signed an MOU with the FEC approved with the CBN that they would invest X amount of money. The contractors will be their own, but they would hand over to us a rehabilitated National Theatre and also those hubs. But because of what had happened in the past, the clause was put there that they will run the National Theatre for a number of years.
How many years?
21 years, sir. 21. Don't worry, I'll be alive there. Now, sir, Mr. Chairman, sir, but this would not result in one single job lost to the staff of National Theatre. On the contrary, they would be involved in the technical aspect of reinventing the cultural aspect of National Theatre. National Theatre, sir, was not built just to rent out space. National Theatre was built to also produce new talents, find new talents, nurture new talents. So as we speak today, sir, myself and the governor of Central Bank, we want to visit the National Theatre to see how far, the work has gone. But I have the assurance of the Bankers Committee that this project will be delivered to us, the first phase, in November 2022, sir. 2022, yes, sir. November, yes, sir. This is because we were invited, we were offered to host the United Nations World Tourism Organization's, CAF, that is the Confederation of Africa meeting.
Yes. So the bank notices all the banks in Nigeria?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The question is that includes the entire land?
No, sir. No, sir. They only took part of the land, sir.
Only part of the land?
Only part of the land.
How many hectares do you know?
I'm not sure about Polish here, but they didn't take, or they didn't take 1/4 of the land, sir.
Okay, what happened with the main building, the main theater?
That is the one they are renovating, sir.
The The one they renovated.
Oh, that's what they are innovating, sir. The electrical.
The main line. They didn't take care of that.
No. They only took a portion.
So what effort are you making towards putting the main line into such an electric?
Mr. Chairman, sir, with due respect, this is the first cooperation between the government and the private sector that is working. Others will come and they'll give you, they'll promise heaven and earth. You sign MOU, they want to grab your land. They don't have the money. So what I'm waiting for, sir, if I can have an officer, a lot of bankers committee, that will not need any participation in terms of money from government. That is what I'm waiting for. So I want to see how this one turns out to. Yes, sir. But at the same time, it is going to launch us into the League of Nations that will use culture as a soft power. Today, sir, many of our artists, many of our footballers are better known than ministers. I've always told people my own personal experience. We went to France one day and we were checking in, and the embassy people wanted to check in because I was a minister. And the airline officer said, no, we must see him. So I went there and I explained that, oh, this is my luggage, I want to check in. He said, are you the big man from Nigeria? I was very embarrassed. The man said, well, when they told me there was a big man from Nigeria, I was expecting to see J.J. Okocha. In other words, for the French people, J.J. Okocha was more important. So the more important, it was that what we were selling to the world. Or a whiskey, or a bomber boy. So this is the thing that we are trying to do. See, as a soft power, at times what we do looks intangible, but it helps the total picture of Nigeria. Why not see it as the kind of road that leads, Calabar to Oron? Yes. But these young men and women today are selling us. And that's why we are providing the infrastructure. That infrastructure is the digital situation. Thank you very much, sir.